Hi guys, this is Katja with Creative Image Studio. Today I thought I'd share my process of making one of my mixed media tags. I am a beginner, but maybe that is just fun to watch then, because if you are a beginner too, we can grow together. I have watched a lot of tutorial videos or demo videos actually by Tim Holtz, and his techniques are quite easy to follow. So it's not really difficult, it's just a way to find your creative self and expressing it. So if you are like that and want to experiment with me, you can just watch me make this tag. So this is a tag in several colors of purple and then with some tattered rose texture paste pattern here, but you will see all of that in the video. So I hope you enjoy it. Leave a comment below if you have any questions or if you have any other ideas of things that I could show you perhaps, and click the like if you like this video and subscribe to my channel. So thank you for watching and I will see you next time. Bye bye. Yeah, so hi, this is me again. Mid-edit, I discovered that the footage that I just announced apparently isn't there on my computer. I don't know whether I lost it or misplaced it, or perhaps that even my video wasn't actually recording when I thought I was recording. I don't know, but the fact is my plan went awry. So I still want to show you how to make the project that I made, or the same type of project. So I'm going to do another project for you and I will show you the steps in this video to make that project. And then at the end, I will show them both next to each other. And yeah. Okay, so that was the public service announcement. Okay, so since I am apparently recreating this for you, and not exactly as I just said, but a comparable project showing you the techniques, we'll first have to analyze what I did here, because this was a sort of a spontaneous project. I just did my thing, go with the flow, etc. And this is how it turned out. This is not a finished project, by the way. I consider this a usable background. So, you know, there will be a time that I choose this background to become something else, like a card or something, and then I will add to it. So I consider this a background. Now, what I did, I gave it a colored base. I think I may have used distress paints in 3 different shades of purple or lilac or some such. And then I added to it with inks. So here you see me inking through a stencil, sort of a brick pattern here. And I also added ink by stamping. So I chose this sort of a butterfly, grungy background stamp, and I just randomly stamped parts of that stamp all over this tag. And then I added the grid paste through a stencil. That is what you see here. And added embossing glaze, and yeah. Now, to save some time, I will not do the inking on camera. I think there's enough of that on YouTube already. Not that I will never film that, but for this video I thought to save some time, because I have fairly recently bought this Dilutions mixed media booklet. It's not called that. I think it's called something like Diary, or, well, I will put it here in the description what it's actually called. And such a booklet is, well, it's meant to practice or to make an art diary. I use it to practice, but also I thought these are sort of backgrounds that I can use, so I can work on top of these. So I thought for this video I would pick a background from my practice art journal, or what's not really a journal, is it? And yeah, the rest I still have to do. So for today, since I know that this will become a card, I have chosen this one to work with because the pinks are actually quite nice. And since this one already has a colored back, I think I will be using this particular piece. So let me try and gently remove it from the page. So let me tidy this up. I will trim this off here and let me get back to you. Okay, so I cut this off. Now I'm going to round the other two corners because these are rounded. So I take my corner jumper. So let's start with the stamping first and then do some stenciling in between. It is nice, I have to say. For a background, this is really nice. It's very subtle. How am I going to do this? I'm thinking about placement because I also want to do some stenciling and I want to do some grid paste. So I have to think, and if I want to stamp a sentiment here, I have to leave this without the grid paste. So the grid paste would be here, maybe like this. So then the stamp may go here. Alright, so time to do some stenciling. Now for the ink part of the stencil. So like here I stenciled with inks. I chose this shifter stencil by Tim Holtz, which means you can do this pattern, then shift it over and do it again in another color. I chose this hexagon because of the bee theme. It reminds me a bit of a beehive. So now I'm going to shift the stencil, but first look at the nice pattern here. And of course I'll have to clean my stencil first because otherwise the inks would mix. So maybe I'm going in with the fossilized amber. So this is archival again. So that will be the same effect as this, but I like it, so it will repeat a bit. So now I'm going to shift the pattern first because I want the next set of hexagons in between these. And these small thin lines will help me with the placement. Now this of course is not an oxide ink, so it will probably blend a bit with the pink underneath, which will give a bit of an orangey effect. Alright, so I've cleaned up a bit and I have inked around the edges. Now what I also did, because I am going to add some grid paste through a stencil in a moment, I thought to myself, I still have to do the back as well, and this is flat, so by now, I mean. So let's do the back first. I have done that off camera because it is not really the point of this video, but I'm just showing you that the order in which you do things does matter. So what I did here, as you remember, it was all this. The entire surface was like that. So I inked around the edges with Seedless Preserves Distress ink first, and then here and there went over it with picked raspberry oxide. And then I did some stenciling, so I took the same shifter stencil that I did here, and I worked with 3 colors this time. This and this is the Seedless Preserves, and this is the picked raspberry. And then I stamped two ATC-like frames, and I used archival inks. So I needed the surface here to be flat to be able to stamp and do all those things. So the order in which you do things is important. Now on to the grid paste. So let me get rid of these inks. Now I also found myself a nice chipboard sentiment. This is also by Tim Holtz, and I'm thinking about adhering that somewhere here. I will color it up first, of course, but that means that the grid paste cannot go here. So you have to really plan this at least a bit, these kinds of things, the placement of your mediums. So if we take the original again, you saw that I did it from the bottom almost to the top in sort of a diagonal. That I won't do this time because, as I said, I want to keep this clear. Also, I like this stamp. So I'm thinking of doing only a little bit of grid paste. So maybe here a bit, maybe a bit here, but that's it. Now, why the grid paste? Because my grid paste is translucent. And that means, the translucency means that it will show some of the color that is underneath. So all of these lovely inks here, some of it will show. And if you take your regular texture paste, that is opaque, so that won't show any of the colors underneath. And you can see it is already taking some of the color underneath it. I like it a lot, but we are going to add some embossing glaze in a moment to get this colored effect and also the shimmer, the shine. Now this will take quite some time to really dry on this paper, especially with the semi-wet inks. So I'm first going to clean this stencil and this spatula, because if it dries here, you can hardly get it off. Okay, so I cleaned everything. Now I'm going to add 2 colors of embossing glaze. And I have chosen Tattered Rose and Fossilized Amber because I think they match pretty well. Okay, so I have a ripe persimmon here and a worn lipstick, which is a pink. And let's see where that gets me. Okay, so I did that off camera because I wanted to be quick. Okay, so here are both pieces. I'm satisfied with them. They turned out nicely. And yeah, we are just gonna wait for this piece to dry. That is the texture paste. It should be completely dried, even cured, before we're gonna emboss the glaze here, because the heat will otherwise make the texture paste bubble up. Now, if bubbles is what you want, then go ahead. All right, so I think about 2 hours have passed. This should be dry enough by now. So I'm going to heat emboss it with my heat gun. So, okay, so here you see the nice shine this now has with the embossing glaze, and you also see that it is colored, so it's yellow. It also did let the pink undertone through, so this all has sort of an orangey feel, which I like, sort of a tropical feel. Same here. So yeah, that was the technique part of this, well, almost card in comparison to this one. So the technique, they look different, but the techniques were the same. So let me go off camera and finish up this card. All right, and this is the end result. So what I did is add these sentiments. I added a die cut and I added some stickles, so some glitter glue here and there, some gold details on the little bee here, his wings, his antennae, and some of the flowers. And for this die cut, I used some metallic rose pink colored paper. So yeah, and of course the back you have already seen. So let's do them both together. So I hope you enjoyed this video. So this is all the same technique. So inking, stamping, stenciling, both with ink and with a texture paste, in my case grit paste, and then coloring it with embossing powders, and in my case embossing glaze, which is transparent or translucent, and it's an easy way to color your texture paste. And you saw me use 2 colors on this flower. You can of course use many more colors if you like. So let me know what you think. Press the like if you like this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.